Okay, welcome then to this session as we take a look at searching Medline on the new EBSCO user interface. Appreciate that a number of you may have already migrated to this platform. Others are awaiting that. So before we get any further, just to introduce myself, I'm Richard Crooks. I work for the EBSCO Customer Training Services team based here in East Midlands in the UK. So I'm a senior customer training specialist. Been with EBSCO now for almost 14 years and typically support customers in the UK, Ireland, and also the Nordics when necessary as well. So my background is essentially as a librarian, chartered librarian, working primarily in the NHS in England in various roles in the past before I joined EBSCO. So thank you for joining this session this afternoon. I appreciate some of you may have been on the CNL session earlier today, and there are some similarities, but also differences with the different databases as well, and some exciting changes that are afoot, as it were, that you'll see more of this afternoon. So we will look at the new interface features. We'll look at a live demonstration of basic and advanced searching. That would include natural language searching, which I'll refer to shortly. Use of mesh terms, the subject headings for Medline, the filters and limiters, so you can refine or focus your search results, and also the available tools to save, store, and retrieve references, searches, etc. that are available in the new platform. And time permitting, we'll take some questions at the end. But in terms of the objectives, I hope that by the end of the session, you'll be able to recognize and locate the new features of the EBSCO interface. You will also be able to understand how to execute basic and advanced searches, including the use of subject headings, mesh terms, filters, and limiters in Medline on EBSCOhost. And also, you'll be able to access and use various tools within this interface to manage your search results, etc. So that's what you're expecting from this session. I appreciate some of you may have been on an earlier session when we started running these back in August. The interface is under constant development at the moment, so there are changes, and you'll see some more that are coming soon in this session today. But for the benefit of those who may be new to Medline, we may have some students, for example, here, or some have simply not been exposed to Medline in the past. So I just want to give a brief recap of what we're looking at. We are looking at the authoritative bibliographic database, the biomedical database, which contains citations and abstracts for biomedical and health journals used, of course, by healthcare professionals, nurses, clinicians, and researchers, and more. Of course, yourselves as well, who are supporting clinicians through evidence searching and so on. Obviously, it covers a broad range of medical research subjects from general health and medicine to pharmacology, neurology, histology, and so on. And then also a key element of Medline is the mesh indexing. So content, of course, whether it's a journal article, conference proceeding, book chapter, etc., these are indexed with the headings provided by the National Library of Medicine in the US. So these are arranged in a hierarchy that permits searching at various levels of detail, and the mesh headings are updated annually. So currently you'll see on the interface Medline Mesh 2025. Of course, that will change come early next year to 2026. Also want to clarify, although we've built this session as searching Medline, it covers all versions of Medline. Obviously, the big difference between the different versions, so whether you've got Medline or Medline with full text, Medline Complete, or even Medline Ultimate, is the quantity of active full text journals that are available with non-embargoed content. So Medline is the basic abstract and in its only version, whereas Medline Ultimate is the high-end version with over 2,500 active full text journals and magazines. But whichever version your users or yourself have access to, the principles that we look at today, the application of the interface will be the same essentially. The content will differ, of course, with the quantity of full text and additional content. Okay, so we're now looking at the Medline limiter. So just to clarify that some of the features that you would have been accustomed to using or may not have used before are still available, have been incorporated into the new platform. So obviously the goal is to make sure that this interface is on a par with the classic and even supersedes that. So we've got Medline limiter EBM, or evidence-based medicine reviews. There's a screenshot there of the filter where you can select that. So that filter limits your search results to the following 6 titles. So when you run a search, you apply the filter within the advanced search page, then it will limit results to content from the Cochrane Database System Reviews, ACP Journal Club, clinical evidence, evidence-based mental health, evidence-based nursing, and so on. So that includes health technology assessments as well. So essentially in using it, you're basically limiting your results to a small set of titles that apply very strict criteria. So including high quality evidence-based content. That would of course include, as you'd expect with Cochrane there, systematic reviews as well. In addition to that, we have also the clinical queries filter. This is also available for CINAHL as well. And we have these specific search strategies that are designed to narrow your results in these 9 research areas. So therapy, diagnosis, prognosis, reviews, as well as quantitative research, costs, and economics as well. You'll note that this screenshot, which gives you the drop-down menu, which is where you would select the particular query that you want to filter by, and you can select more than one. So you've got therapy, high sensitivity, therapy, high specificity, and therapy best balance. So high sensitivity means it's the broadest search to include all relevant material, which may mean it includes some less relevant content. High specificity is the most targeted search, so that would include only the most relevant results set and may miss some others there. Now with best balance, as you might expect, it retrieves the best between the sensitivity and specificity. Now for each of these queries, each of these strategies, there is information on the EBSCO Connect site which details the Boolean query that sits behind each of these queries, in other words, how it's been constructed in terms of running that search. So these clinical queries are created in collaboration with the Health Information Research Unit at McMaster University in Canada. So if anyone can remember that far back in the mid-90s, they were instrumental in promoting evidence-based medicine. Okay, so there is a web link that we can send you for more information on that, or you can just Google that, as it were, and find the relevant information. But we have got EBSCO Connect, our main support portal, which details the search strategies there for each of these areas. Okay, so just a brief recap there of Medline and a couple of features to highlight there that you may or may not use. We've got new features and enhancements, of course, and we're going to start out with the reminder that the EBSCO's new URL structure. So essentially what that means is we now have the browser URL as a permalink. So the browser address bar URL for any page when using the interface is now permalink. So for those who still have Classic, or if you recall that far back, as it were, there was always a permalink available, a separate link that you would, a dedicated link that you would need to select to ensure that users could, link to that particular article, etc. Now you can use the browser address bar URL. So that's available for the new interface. In addition to that, like CINAHL and other EBSCO databases, there's this ongoing drive to support accessibility for all user groups. There's a responsive design with the interface for different size devices, so whether you access through a desktop, laptop, tablet, or mobile. There's a simplified design, as we'll see, because there's a lot of white space. It's designed to reduce the cognitive load on users. Also supports screen reader navigation as well. There are easy to access quick filters. We support accessible ebook formats, including EPUB and DRM-free content as well. There are headings and landmarks for screen reader navigation, also transcripts for videos where appropriate, and also with the text-to-speech software included now, as again with CINAHL on EBSCOhost, the HTML is there still, and you can download the MP3, but now the PDF articles are also available as an MP3 download as well, so you can listen to the reading of those articles offline as and when you need to. In terms of globalization, obviously this session has been intended primarily to those who are based in the UK, Ireland, and the Nordics, and anyone else from other territories are welcome, of course. And there is an effort again at EBSCO to ensure that the databases, and there's about 400 of them, that EBSCO sells worldwide, and they will be accessible to all groups in multiple languages. So 33 languages are currently supported in terms of the way you can view the interface in terms of navigation. The most recent language there, as you see there, is Hindi. So you see the screenshot there with the various navigation elements in that language. And there is the option in My EBSCO, so the personal account that you can create yourself to set your own preferences. So you can have it set up to display the interface in your preferred language as appropriate. Of course, you can switch them as well. Okay, so that's also available. And then we also have the Pico search app as well. So that's been enhanced from the previous Pico app that was available for Discovery and also EBSCOhost. This now includes the T element, so the time or type of study. So how long will it take to reach the desired outcome? What types of studies are needed? And there are the other 4 elements, of course. Population could be patient, could be problem. Intervention could be exposure as well, by the way. So in these 5 elements, these 5 fields, the key ones are population, intervention here. So they must be populated with terms in order to be used effectively. Okay, so again, they're the only two areas that are mandated, and they're typically the most common areas that you would use to search in any case. The condition, for example, coupled with the intervention. If you have a comparison, then also you can factor that in, and the outcome might also be mentioned. So it could be pain management, pain control, it could be quality of life. But we do have the app available. If you have migrated to the interface and you do not see it, it's something that we need to enable for you. Okay, so that is through EBSCO Experience Manager, one of the two admin tools for the interface. Now, for those of you who are curious about AI content or the AI input to EBSCOhost and so on, we do have two elements currently. One is the generative AI insights. This may or may not be available to you depending on what you've approved or agreed to. It's available now. There's no cost to this, by the way. But essentially, these insights are 2 to 5 point summaries that are generated by prompting a large language model to summarize full text articles essentially. So they provide concise summaries, and it essentially reduces the time for users the time they spend searching for full text articles. They can see the relevance through the summaries, etc. And this can also help with a rapid review. And the AI Insight prompt itself uses RAG, the RAG method, the retrieval augmented generation, to reduce hallucinations. And alongside that, EBSCO also reviews a representative example or sample of these insights periodically with the relevant subject matter experts in order to provide the human in the loop intervention, if you like, or insight for biases, tone, accuracy, timeliness of insights as a quality and responsible AI metric. So again, that is available. Some of you would have seen that already. Some may be testing this, etc. But please do speak to your account team if you're interested in having that enabled for you. In addition to that, we have the AI-powered natural language search mode. So again, it's using a large language model in response to a query, and typically the way you use it is it has to be enabled, of course, made visible, switched on, and you would enter your query. So it's using everyday terminology, everyday language queries, but in the form of a statement or a question. Okay, and that will then be reconfigured, if you like, or refined into a search query, and you can see that online, as we'll see, and that will bring back results, quick results that are relevant to your particular question in view. So it reflects common familiar tools like Siri, Google, and Alexa. So for that to be available, that has to be opted in. It is a feature, again, in EBSCO Experience Manager, the admin tool, so it can be hidden by default. It can be on by default. I think most who have access to this now, who are using this, have it off by default, so it's an option that you can switch on. And it can be used through the basic search screen or on the advanced search screen. So it can be used in either area, as it were, and it is considered a search mode. So again, it's not mandated, but it's something that can be deployed. I will see an example of that in the live demonstration. So again, you can access that search mode via the advanced search page. Under the search options, there is natural language search highlighted there. So whether you use the basic search as the initial landing page or advanced search, it's there. In terms of recent updates, this is the latest one. There's more to come, as we'll see later today in this session. We have additional metadata elements now available on the current results list. This was launched recently, and so that includes the volume number, issue number of publications, alongside the page numbers, the page count as well. So if you thought it was there and it wasn't, it is there now. Okay, so that is also available. Okay, so just a snapshot or a review of the recent enhancements, with more to come, as we'll see. But now we're going to go to live demonstration to navigate the interface and run a few searches just so that you're familiar with some of the features and functionality. I am going to share my screen in a moment. You should see the default landing page, which is the advanced search screen. So you can perform basic and advanced searches on this page. It gives you access to more functionality, as it were. So I mentioned the natural language search initially. So you'll see here, if you go to basic search, that feature has been enabled. It's visible, but it needs to be switched on to make use of it. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Advanced search also features this under search options. You'll see the search modes, and then natural language is one of these. Now on this page, so when you come to this page initially, you'll come to these three boxes, these three rows, and on this you can add more rows as needed. So you can add up to 12 rows, which means you can enter individual terms or terms and combine them using the Boolean operators and or not. Okay, so you can add up to 12 rows there. You also have the fields that you can search through. So if you're doing some more advanced searching, then you want to search simultaneously the title and abstract There's an option there, XB. We use it, maybe use it later. You've got other elements there like the subject headings and so on. We also have, again, filters to apply. So you'll see EBM reviews, which you mentioned earlier in the PowerPoint. There is a dedicated one for systematic reviews as well to see what's been done before. And if you scroll down further, you'll see we also have the clinical queries. Again, therapies there, diagnosis, prognosis, and others there, qualitative research. You can see each one has high sensitivity, specificity, and best balance as well. So they are there on the advanced search page for you to use. We have the search options again. So by default, proximity is the search option, if you like, of choice for MEDLINE on EBSCOhost. Now, if you work in the NHS in England, that may well be changed. For the Knowledge and Library Hub, which is the EBSCO Discovery Service for NHS England, that says phrase. It's been relabeled to phrase, and essentially it searches for words in the order they're entered that are next to each other. With proximity, the current default setting is that they would search for terms as they appear near each other, but in any order within a specified word range, which is 5 words or less. Okay, so if you want to know more about the search modes and understand what they're doing, then go through to EBSCO Connect Context Sensitive Help menu, and that will display the definition of each of those modes. So we have proximity again, and this is the default option. So it can be configured to suit your users as needed, and that is done currently in EBSCO Admin, which is the other admin tool for the EBSCO's platform. So again, there's 2 at the moment. Find all is certainly searching with the AND operator between terms. So for example, if you look at childhood obesity, it'll be childhood and obesity. So both terms must appear somewhere in the results, the individual results that are retrieved. Find any essentially is using the OR operator, so it searches OR between terms. So it could be alcoholism, for example. Smart text searching just allows you to cut and paste large chunks of text. It could be an abstract to retrieve records that may be related to that article, etc. So if it's a particularly relevant article, you can take out the abstract, paste it into the search box. Once you have smart text searching, it will reconstruct the query with the main keywords and bring back results based on those terms, and then natural language search. Okay, so those are there, those are available. In addition to that, if we scroll down, you'll see expanders, and this will vary between accounts as well. So there are typically 3 that would be displayed. The other one is also search within the full text, which does what it says. It will search directly within the full text document, as well as the basic citation, so title, abstract, etc. Now, again, for each of these expanders, there is more information on EBSCO Connect. So follow the link there, and it will give you the breakdown of those elements and how they're used. Okay, so I'm sure many of you have seen this before and may have used those before in the classic interface. We have publications here, so if you want to access a particular publication within MEDLINE, you can search for it here. You can browse using the alpha menu, and you can scroll through the list there as well. Now you've got the MEDLINE Mesh 2025 subject headings here as well, the mesh terms, so you can search for those as well, and we'll come back to that shortly. But what I will do now is go to search options and switch over to natural language search. So we're going to just run a search here. So how to improve compliance with home dialysis. Okay. So that is our query. So it's in the form of a question. We've got natural language search mode switched on, and I can run a search, and it's going to run that search solely on the content within MEDLINE, the version that we're using at the moment. Okay, so it's not going to the open web. It's just within this particular resource, as it were. Okay, just while I'm going to look at this, Sophie's asked the question, with proximity, can this be combined with an AND? Does it need its own line? Yes, it can be combined with AND. You can construct it with other terms as well. Okay, we can provide more information about precision searching as well. We won't get into that in too much detail today. We are hoping to roll out more advanced sessions as well, going beyond this once the new features are available, and we'll cover some of those things in more detail as well. So we've got the results here from our natural language search, and the first thing you would say, well, how did it search? Okay, you said it's been, the large language model has been prompted to return results, but How does that look in actuality? So you'll notice above the results here, we've got this reference to refined query. Okay, and you can see how it's constructed this query if I zoom in a little bit more. So it's used the Boolean operators, it's used OR for home dialysis, peritoneal dialysis, etc., patient compliance or patient adherence, and it's using the AND to combine those terms. So essentially, it's looking at those, it's like home dialysis, patient compliance, and and also improvement, intervention, etc. So it's constructed the query in this fashion based on my query, my question, and it's brought out results below, and you can see the key terms are highlighted in yellow. So by default, and you can see this one, intervention strategies to improve. Now, some of these are quite old, to be honest, so you can view the most recent here, so the newest, or you can filter. So if you prefer to filter, you can do that. So this is a current one, etc. And this is also a systematic review and meta-analysis. So this is what we're kind of looking for, but you can go for all time and filter to the last, say, 5 years, and obviously limit the amount of results retrieved based on that question. So we're down to 98, less than 100. But now we have items published since 2020, and obviously this one's deemed to be the most relevant at this stage based on the ranking algorithm, which includes the words, the subject terms, words in the title, words in the abstract, and so on. Okay, so you can see terms highlighted there in bold. And of course, there are other ways to limit as well. So, for example, we've got filters here. If you want to limit to English language only, then you can select the option and apply it here as well. Okay, another question here from Olive. Does it pick up alternative spellings, hemo, or HEMO or HAEMO? So there is an element of that it does do that, I believe. You can use the hash wildcard as well. So we may look at the database help file in a moment. Okay. So I'll get back to you on that one. Alan's asked, do we have the search history captured with numbers or results found? Yes, we do. There are some changes taking place with this as well, as we'll see in a bit later. But if you want to see the search history, what it's captured, and the number of results, go to recent activity. And you see the search history here, the first tab there, and you see the set numbers with the results that have been captured, as it were, found. So again, it's capturing the search, and notice it's also including limiters, filters when I apply them. So this is the first search, of course, and then you've got, I think I ran this twice, and then you've got 5 years here, and now we've got English language here as well. So it does include the filters, and it also includes the original search mode, so it's natural language, and the apply current subjects filter as well, expander, sorry. Now, the way they're ordered at the moment, of course, is in reverse chronological order, so you can resort this using the oldest sort there, and then you can see how you progressed, and that's, again, all related to this natural language search, okay? So that's displayed on this tab, recent activity. Okay, so again, that's going to still be there, but there are some changes taking place which would, help you towards running extensive searches. And just to follow that up, Alan's also asked, can you export that search history? So you can do that. So again, if you go to recent activity, and I'll resort again to the oldest, which is the sequence we started off, and then you'll see we've got this option here. So you can download. So you can download up to 500 lines, basically. So if I click that here, I can now download in PDF or Word format. So if I click download, I can show that. Now, at the moment, we generally recommend RTF format because Word, it does space it out quite a bit. So you might see the one set on one page, one set on another page. So if you want to see it more condensed, you might want to choose RTF here. If I click download here, I just save the file and then I'll view it online so you can see that for yourselves. Also, you can play with it in your own time if you've got access currently. So I'm just going to open this up. I'll drag this across. So basically, it's come on the monitor. So if I drag this across, you can now see the search query. Okay, so it's 4 sets. It's all related to this natural language search, but you can see it gives you the sequence, and it's on one page as well. So it tells us the search, when it was run, the results retrieved, the search mode, the expander applied, the interface, and the actual database. Okay, so this is in a rich text format, which also you can save that as a Word file if you need to. Okay, so that's there. So you can download the search, as it were. Again, you've got other formats, CSV as well. Again, Word is also included, and I know that was asked for many years before it was implemented several years ago. Okay, so I appreciate the questions. What I will typically do as well in the session, I collect the questions and also feedback then as well with definitive responses and additional documentation as needed. So if I don't get to you today, then please bear with me. I will respond post-session as well, but we'll carry on here for now. So that's the natural language search, which we've just gone through with a brief look at some of the filters that you can apply. So you have the generic filters across the top of the page, including linked full text, which, because we're using MEDLINE, the ANI version, it doesn't have a quantity of full text directly. So essentially we're relying on smart linking, which is where you can have other links from other EBSCO databases like Cine Complete, Cine Ultimate, carried through across, transferred to the MEDLINE if that article is also available within MEDLINE. Okay. It also means it can also incorporate the use of link resolvers like LibKey from Third Iron or Full Text Finder from EBSCO to add full text content for your online subscriptions and other open access content as well. So again, it depends on how it's been configured for yourselves, etc. Obviously, some of you are working in the NHS and have national subscriptions, etc. as well. So, link full text is there, peer review content. Then we looked at the publication date, and also you will find that there is going to be a custom date range added to this quick filter in due time. Okay, so you can customize that. So you may want to say, I only want articles between 2022 and 2025, for example. So at the moment, that filter is available on this right-hand panel. So on the publication date, so you can still use a custom date range, but it's specifically day, month, year. There will be the option to go for year only if you prefer. Okay, that will also be added to this quick filter, I believe, as well. So you have that option here, and then source type as well. So again, you've got numerous filters there that you can use. Okay, now before we go any further with this, we will run another search. I just want to go briefly to the mesh terms. So I'll clear this for now. So again, you can get to MEDLINE mesh terms from here, or if you're in another part, for example, in recent activity of the interface, you want to go directly to the mesh headings now, then there's a shortcut under research tools. So click MEDLINE Mesh 2025, and it'll take you to this area. Okay, so it's highlighted now. And from here, you can browse for a mesh term. So for example, if you're looking for chronic migraine, then you can type in the term here, click search, and then you'll see the actual mesh term is migraine disorders, okay, as you see here. And if you click on that term, it gives you the scope note here, what it's used for. Okay, so if you search for any of these terms, or browse for any of these terms within the index, within the mesh subheadings, it will take you and direct you to this particular term. You can see the history notes as well, and so on. And then you see the tree, the mesh tree for migraine disorders. So this is obviously part of the nervous system diseases, central nervous system diseases, brain diseases, headache disorders, etc. So it sits here. Okay. So we'll come back to that in a moment when we run another search. I just wanted to highlight that initially. Okay, so click new search here. And before we go any further, I just want to highlight the help menu too. So again, at any point in time, you need support for using the interface, especially if you just migrated or about to, maybe you're trialing this still, then under the research tools menu on the left-hand column, there is the help menu. So the help menu currently here in this demonstration takes me to the EBSCO's Quick Start Guide. So this is the new EBSCO's interface. So on here, you'll find a lot of information. You have the FAQs for the new EBSCOhost. So maybe certain questions you have you're concerned about. You've got more information on the new interfaces and release notes. So we're quite transparent what's going on. There is a tutorial for this interface as well. And then there's also various elements like how to, searching and browsing, searching help. So in other words, using brilliant operators, wildcards, etc. So I'm just going to go to wildcards here because I know it came up with the question about alternate spellings. So if we come down here, so this is all on the EBSCO Connect website. So the key thing about the new interface now is not linking to a dedicated help menu within the database, which requires lots of updates. It's going directly to the EBSCO Connect support portal, which is being kept up to date. So again, you're getting the latest information on here, and it means for us at EBSCO, it's less intensive, it's more practical to update this site than to do that for each individual database. Now, there are individual database help files that you can still access. They are still available in PDF format, and I'll show you how to get to them in a moment. So you can see here, we've got the hash wildcard here. So again, this highlights the matter of, where alternate spelling might contain an extra character. Okay, so I know I think the context will be hemodialysis. So for example, you can see here, pediatric, for example, if you put the hash wildcard for the E in pediatric, it would find the US spelling and UK spelling. Okay, so essentially, if we did something similar to that here, use this example, so I'm using hash hemodialysis. Okay, then that in theory should cover both variations. So we've got the hash before the E. So here, dialysis. Okay, and then run the search here. Okay, so you see the first instances that's listed there, looking for variations of this. So yeah, there you see there. So it's picked up hemodialysis with the alternate spelling, the UK spelling as well. So it's picked up both spellings here, as you see. So I appreciate the question from Olive. You may find also when you're running a search, there is some mapping to other terms as well, that there may be some kind of mapping to specific terms where there's the US and UK spelling as well. But again, you can use that wildcard to search for both terms simultaneously, as it were. Okay, so again, going back to the help menu just briefly here. In addition to those dedicated menus within these sections, so using the dashboard here, we'll come to that later. You also have the database help. So these are the original database help files for databases that you would have had access to with Classic when you click the help menu. So if I click this link here, it will take me to this page. It will block. It will take me to this page, and this is where you can access the individual help menu for each databases. So if you subscribe to MEDLINE Ultimate, you've got a dedicated help menu there. If you have MEDLINE Complete, it's there. And if it's MEDLINE, which we're looking at today, it's there. That will then take you to this page, and you'll notice my pop-ups are currently blocked, but I can link through to the document, save it, and then I open the PDF, and this is the help file for MEDLINE. Okay. So you'll see the searchable fields. So this tells us what the default field for an unqualified search is in MEDLINE. If you're interested or want to know where to go to find that information for your users, you'll see the field codes there that are there. And if I scroll down here, all the way down, you'll see we've now got, I think it should be here somewhere. It's been added, yes, XB. So this is title and abstract. So although it says performs a keyword search on the database title and abstract fields, it is simultaneously looking at either field. Okay, so if you do therapy, XB therapy, then you are searching for therapy, whether that term appears in the title or abstract, not necessarily where they appear in both fields. Okay, so just to clarify that, and you have the definition of fields as well, also available through this menu. So again, just wanted to highlight that for you. Okay. So you've got the online help there, in addition to the context-sensitive help for search options also. So let's go on a bit further with some of the searching, and we'll make use of the different fields that are available. So we are going to look at chronic migraine and acupuncture. So to do that, I'm going to enter chronic migraine here. And as I type, you'll see we have the words in lowercase there. You have the other search terms. So these search terms are generated globally from users. So, someone looking at chronic migraine will be maybe look at migraines, headaches, etc. So you can continue to use those terms or use others as needed. So for example, I can add migraine or headache, for example, just to illustrate here. And what I can do here, okay, And I can factor in some other things like truncation. I can factor in wildcards, but at this time I won't do that. I can choose XB, so to search within both those fields. And then I can combine it with a subject term. So to do that, I can switch to OR here, and then go to MEDLINE, the mesh terms, and then clear that. In fact, I had it already there, as you saw. So we already have this showing anyway, so I'm just going to repeat this. So I'm actually looking for correct migraine, but as we see now, it's actually migraine disorders. When I select this, it's set to automatically explode the term to include narrow terms as well. Okay, so you can see again, if we click on the subject tree, you'll see we've got Alice in Wonderland syndrome, migraine with aura, etc. So include these terms as well, these index terms. And then once we've selected those, we can add to search. So it will then add the subject search, the mesh search in the box below, and we have OR. So essentially what we're doing here, we're searching the title abstract for these terms, these keyword search terms within MEDLINE, combined with anything indexed with migraine disorders and the related or narrow terms. So hence we've exploded it. So MH indicates we have the mesh term, the exact term, which you can see on the drop-down menu as well. So exact subject heading. And then we have the plus sign indicating this is an item which has narrow terms included as well. So we can run this search now. And that will be in our recent activity. We'll go back to that in a moment. But we also want to look at acupuncture as well. So we can do another search here. So we can either click new search or go to advanced search again. And then we can enter the search terms here. Now, there will be some changes to this coming, which you'll be, I'm sure, pleased to know once I share that with you. So I'll keep you in suspense for now, but we'll share more about that in a moment. And at this stage, I'm just going to acupuncture, and I can truncate. I mentioned truncation, so you can use the asterisk, by the way. That would be acupuncture, acupuncturist. I can add others like acupuncture therapy or treatment, or I can put in acupressure. Okay, for now. Okay, so you don't have to use those terms below. They're just ones that others have used in searching in a similar topic. So to keep it simple, I will keep it to those two terms. I'll add the title abstract search there, switch to OR here, and then I'll go back to the mesh terms, clear this, and I will then enter acupuncture. Okay, and then click search here. So we've got acupuncture as a mesh term. Notice we've got others here as well. So I can select this term. Okay. And again, I can select the term itself to view the scope note. So obviously it was added in 2002. You have previous indexing indicated there as well. And you have the rated heading acupuncture therapy. So I can include that as well at this stage. Okay, so acupuncture therapy is not included when you explode it. You add it as a separate term, but you've got the other terms below as well. Okay, so I can then add these. And again, you'll see them both added in the search box below and to combine with the original keyword search within the title or abstract field. And then I can click search here. So just to illustrate then, once I've done that, I can go into recent activity. So again, I'm basically going to my search history, and it's displayed here. Now I've got 9 searches here because I'm still looking at previous searches as well. So you can see hemodialysis was there and the natural language search. So I'm going to go in and remove these for now. So I'm just going to go into each line. Now, coming soon, you will be able to bulk delete these lines. So at the moment, that's not enabled, but in the very near future, you will be able to do that. So that is coming, as we'll see on the roadmap shortly. So I'm just going to do this now. Okay, until we get to the actual, let me just sort by the oldest, and I'm going to just remove these line by line. So when I do remove the lines, of course, it does renumber them, by the way. So you won't have some kind of disorder here. And I'm just going to do the other one. But the bulk search delete is coming soon. Okay, so I've done that now. I've got these 2 sets here. You see the query with the fill codes, the parentheses, the operators, etc. And then I can select both sets here. And one thing to check before you combine them, make sure that this box is clear. Now we do have a feature, and I've enabled it for my account, my demo account, to clear a find field after searching. So that feature is available to do that automatically. If you do not want that on, it's fine, but you have to remember before you combine, make sure this is clear, because when you click combine with and, it inserts the combined set in the search box. If you have the previous search still sticking there, it will then combine it with that. And when you run search, it will make a right mess of it. So you probably don't want to do that. So click search here, and then we'll bring up the set results in the standard results page as you see there. Okay, so we've got 1200. Now, obviously, I can review the search. If I wanted to edit the search, by the way, I can go back to recent activity. I've got set numbers here. So, for example, if I want to make change to S1, I can go to the tools menu here, search details, and I can edit the search string here. Okay, so for example, I could put chronic migraine in quotation marks, for example. So for exact phrase searching. So I could do that. I can even put in headaches as 2 words, which is probably unlikely, but again, I can make that 2 words with the quotation marks. And then I can update the search, click continue. I'll just cancel this. I'm not saving the search at this stage, but it is modified here. So now you can see the modifications I've made, the double quote marks for chronic migraine, headaches as 2 words as well with quote marks. So again, I made some changes here to this. Again, I can sort so you can see the sequence we're in, and then I can, review the search again based on this. Okay. Okay, so we have our results displayed below, and you'll notice with the results page, we have them in the brief format essentially. So if you want to view an abstract where there are abstracts, you'll need to click show more to view the rest of the abstract. Some of these are going to be longer than others, some are quite short. Example there. Okay, and of course, so again, that's something which you can be enabled by default in EBSCO Experience Manager. So by default, you only see the first line or two of the abstract, or nothing at all if there's no abstract, of course. If you want to see the full abstract in the result list, that is something which is centrally managed within the admin tool. So for those in England, for example, in the NHS, that'll be determined by Alan Fricker and other colleagues in consultation with yourselves. If you work in other institutions, you can set this yourself as to what you feel will be the preferred view of the results. Obviously, the intention here is to reduce the cognitive load, make it clearer to view content. So, for example, we have multiple authors. You have ones here, you have 5 more there, etc. Or the multiple subject headings, you have 8 more here. So again, the more content that is available, so you've got 12 more authors here, 13 more subject headings, then it does tend to take up more space on the screen, etc. So again, there are things that you can expand to view as needed. So question here from Olive, are the subjects under each article related to the mesh terms? Good question. So if we go into the articles here, so this first one, scroll down. So this is obviously in medicine, indexed in Medline, and then you'll see here we've got the mesh terms. So I think what you'll see are the mesh terms specifically showing. Okay. So those would be the ones illustrated. So again, if we go back, let's see if there's anything else here we need to see. If I go back to that record in the result list, for example, so we've got, let's see, we've got, from migraine disorders right to chronic disease. If we go into results here, again, there's 10 more. Yeah, so essentially these are, I think, although Taiwan is mentioned there, so these may be some author keywords there as well. So let me go back again, check that. I can't remember if I saw Taiwan that mentioned there. Yeah, Taiwan is mentioned. So yeah, these are basically mesh terms that are indicated on the results page. Yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, you may want to filter this, and it could be that you're looking at a particular age group and gender, for example. So if you go to all filters here, then you can go in here and choose as it's Medline. As with CINAHL, you have these 2 additional filters here. So we can go in, for example, maybe we're looking at, I don't know, let's go for adults 19 to 44 years of age. Okay, and then we've got gender here, so we'll go for female here and then apply. So basically, we're filtering according to age group and gender. However, it doesn't necessarily omit other age groups, etc. as well. Okay, so you might still see the reference there. And if we go into one of these, so for example, this one here, you'll see it mentions female here. It's highlighted because we've obviously narrowed it down to female, and it's also included middle age there as well. So it's not excluded other age groups, as it were. Okay, so we've also brought the number down considerably. There is options to link to full text, of course, as well. So you can go to full text. And as I mentioned, it's an ANI database. The quantity of full text will be limited, but there are options with smart linking, which I mentioned earlier. So again, now the results have been refined, and you'll see these links here, access options, PDF online full text. We can limit by peer reviewed, although the majority of content in Medline is peer reviewed in any case, but you'll see the annotation when content is peer reviewed specifically indicated there. All time again, so you can specify the date range, etc. So if we say we want to go for the last 10 years, we can do that here. Okay, so now down to 49 records and source type. So these are all academic journals. So there are other filters as well. And notice when we've applied filters, they are recorded here under active filters. And it also keeps a record of the expander that's been applied to this search as well. We see we've got linked full text there. Again, you can look for individual publications as well. And for all of these menus, you can search directly for within them. So you can search for a particular publication and you can sort them alphabetically. So by default, they're ordered by hit count, but you can also sort these alphabetically. Okay, as you see there, likewise with publisher as well, etc. And geography here also. So I'm just going to skip that now. And we'll just spend time looking at the results and processing them as well. So again, you can access the full text content. So if you're curious about this article or another one, then you just click on the access options, click on PDF, for example, and it takes you to this page, this tab. And you'll notice with the PDF, obviously, as you'd expect, it's the reproduction of the original article electronically, and I'm hoping that'll load soon. But there is an option to view, to choose tools to process this, as it were. So you've got the save item option there, and I'll talk about saving items in a moment in more detail. The cite tool. So if you want to cite this with Harvard referencing and copy the citation, you can do that here, copy to the clipboard. So the reference styles are listed. MA, APA, Chicago, APA, and so on. And depending on your institution, you may want to go for a certain reference style. You may leave it open and the users will choose. But if there's a default reference style, for example, Harvard in the NHS, that is the default setting for them. Okay. If you're working with APA PsycInfo, PsycArticle, APA databases, you may be looking at APA 7th edition. Okay. Always you've got Chicago, Vancouver, and so on. You can also export the citation as well. We've got choice of formats, including RIS format, RefWorks, EndNote, and so on. Also, these Noodle tools as well supported. So that's the cite tool. There's the Add to Project. Now, Add to Project is related to a personal folder account, MyEBSCO. So many of you would have had a MyEBSCO personal account when using the classic interface, and this is the equivalent of that for the new interface. And so basically it means that you can store items beyond the session. It means you can set up alerts, etc. And you can create your own project. So a project is simply a custom folder where you store searches and other articles in one place. So for that, you need to sign in, as I mentioned. When you do that, it will prompt you to use the screen. Now, if you are in NHS England and some other organizations, you may have EBSCO single sign-on. So what that means is that you would, once you sign in with Open Athens, you'll be automatically synchronized with your folder. So a folder should be created for you that you can use. So thereafter, every time that you sign with Open Athens to access Medline, for example, then your folder will be signed into. So MyEBSCO will be signed in. So that's for those who have EBSCO single sign-on. If you don't have that, then your users will need to create their own account here, and they can do that here. We support Google sign in as well. So create an account. So again, you can continue with Google if appropriate. You can add your first name here. Your last name is optional, email address, and then you create the password. Okay, you can obviously view that if you're checking that, and you would take a note of the criteria below, and you need to agree to the consent form as well. Okay, so that means you agree for us to collect the data, and if you're concerned what data we collect, then there's a privacy policy there. So you can use this live. Once you've done this, you can click sign in, and you can add your username and sign in here. Now it's asked me to go through my VPNs. Apologies for this. I'll edit this out. Okay. So it will take you back into the interface, and now it means I can create a project. I can save items to a project once that's completed. And I've just seen another question from Olive there regarding, is the geography filter useful? Yes, I mean, it's useful in terms of Medline. It's whereas the original geography filter in CINAHL was related to country publication, there is now a location of practice filter, which some of you may know about from my sessions. Geography in Medline is related to the coverage of the content. So again, if you're doing a more in-depth search, you may be doing a direct mesh search for United Kingdom, for example, or your preferred country. So you may want to make use of the keyword searching and the subject searching to bring back results that relate directly to United Kingdom. But you have got that quick filter, that filter available, and you can try that out to see, but it should relate specifically to the coverage, the content of the actual item indexed, rather than just who published it or where it was published. So at this stage, you can choose a project or you can add a new one. So at the moment, I've got all these projects set up, but I've got a new one. I don't have one on chronic migraine, so I can add a new project here. I can give it a name. So this project could be an evidence search, by the way, for a user. So it could be something you're working on, literature search you're supporting, and you want to give it a name to clarify what it is. You can add in the description who it's for, if it's for a particular department or clinician. And if you have a deadline to get this information to them, then you can specify here when the deadline might be and then create the search. Now, although the date is in US format here, when we click, it will render in the UK format when you see it on screen. So I'll just put chronic migraine for now, so save time here. I know, and then create this. I've created a project. We'll do that later. So I'm back in Medline. I've signed in as a EBSCO user. And if I go to, let's see, my project, so I'll see if it did save that. Yeah, it did actually. So I've got chronic migraine here. So this is the project I've created, and note the date is in the UK format, as you see with colorectal neoplasms as well, which I did earlier today. Now, another thing to point out here as well is this get report. So for those of you not yet migrated, and even if you have, from this page, you can access your classic folders. In other words, folders that you may have used previously for evidence searches, things that you stored, and you can click get report. And this will change to download report, and you can download a spreadsheet of the previously saved content that you had in the classic interface. So I'm hoping that will go through, and no, unfortunately, it's just the demo site here not functioning. So maybe some changes going on behind the scenes. Okay, James, that's fine. So anyway, so that's the actual project. And if I look at another project here, you'll see I've got my records that I've saved here. So I did this morning in the CINAHL session, and my search also is saved here. So you can group save records and searches here. So by default, if we go and let's go look at the other projects here, go to migraine, and I don't have my search there. So if I go back to recent activity, and yeah, unfortunately it didn't save my search. So what I might do here is quickly run the search or run a search. So I'm gonna make this quicker this time. So I'm just gonna go into chronic pain, and I'm going to combine it with acupuncture just for sake of time. So do this a quick and dirty approach here, click search. And so if I did this search, then, and I wanted to save items from this search, so I'm just going to go back to full text here as we used it earlier. And if I want to save these records, then I can do it individually. So I can save each record like so, use the icon, the bookmark icon there. If preferred, I can save a set of results, so 50 at a time. So I can go here and save all on this page. Okay, which means I can download these, okay, if I want to, in PDF or Word format, etc., or BibText. I can also let's see here, share them, so I can save here. And when you save a quantity of records, they are saved in the saved folder under my dashboard. So I go to saved here. You'll see these records are saved. Okay, so any saved records are added to this list. Okay, unless I move them directly to the folder, to the projects. So I can go in under tools and add this to a project. So if I've got the project for chronic migraine, which I know relates to acupuncture, I can add this. Okay, so I can add these records straight to the project if I need to. Okay, so move them from my save folder, which is the default generic folder for saving items, to a project folder. And if I go to projects now, under my chronic migraine, you should see these records now being stored. Okay. Now, if preferred, when you run a search like this one, then you can save directly into the project. You don't have to save to the save folder and then move them. You can just go in and add this to a project. Again, choose the project and add it. If it's already there, it will tell you it's been added. Okay. Likewise, with the results here, I can just add all 50 records on this page directly to the folder. So again, it's quite useful. It bypasses that second step, and it means you're not having to do two things, save it to the save folder and then move to the projects. Project, again, is where you're customizing your folders. You're designating them according to a specific task or search or colleague, etc. So you can group together your results and your search. So if you, so another question here, can you bulk add to project? Okay, yes. So I just did that with the records per page. I can bulk add up to 50 records per page to the project. So all I need to do is select the results on the page, click add to project, and then you'll see 50 items, and I can go in and add that. I've already done that, so it won't allow me to do that now, but you can do it in that way. So you can add those. Likewise with the search, if we want to look at the search and save the search, go to the save search here. You can save it here. It always renders the search name according to the last query, the final set, if you like, but you can relabel this. So I'm going to put in chronic migraine again, just for the sake of time. Okay, you get the query below. You can copy the query, by the way, and paste it into the search box if you need to, or share that with another user, and then you save it here. So you get confirmation it's been saved and it's available within Save Searches. So click Close. So you'll now see that search in the Save folder. So records first and then searches here. So now this is the new search. Obviously, it's just after 3 o'clock, local time in the UK. But again, rather than having a list of searches here, and coming soon is the ability to bulk delete. So I believe that will also apply to searches here as well. At the moment, you have to go in. I think you can't actually delete them at the moment from this page, but that should be coming. But what you can do here is under tools, you can add this to the project. So I've saved articles already to the project. I'm now going to add the search itself. So click add now. If I go to my projects, again, still the project labels there. And then you can see I've got the records, the 50 I just saved. So this is the bulk saving, and then the searches here. So I've got my search here as well. And I can go in and I can view the details of that search here, and I can edit it here as well. So I can make changes on this page also. So you make those changes in projects as well. Okay, so I'm just going to close that down. Also, you can delete as well. So you can delete the search within the projects page. Okay. Likewise, I can go into the actual project. I can edit the project, so I can relabel it. So I can add and acupuncture. Okay. And then I can change the date if it's been extended, etc. So let's go for mid-December for Dr. Smith. Okay. So, and save. And it tells me it's who it's for as well. So I can see that up front there as well. Okay, so that's projects there. Again, we looked at the, let's see, save. So save folders, again, includes a record there, a search here, and they can be added to the project. So I can add this one as well. For example, this one here can be added to my other project here on colorectal neoplasms. I can add that now, and that's stored there. Okay. Now, the other thing you may want to obviously do is not only save the search or save it to a project folder, you may want to be alerted to future content as well. So if I just open this search here, just for sake of time, then you also would have noted the alerts feature to create alert here. And again, defaults to the search string, so I can change this to chronic migraine and acupuncture. Okay, give it a description if I need to. Again, could be something you're setting up for a colleague, a user, and then the frequency. So by default, it's set to run daily, which may be too frequent. You can change it to weekly or monthly. You can see when it was created, and it will expire within the year. Okay, so all of these alerts are configured to run for up to 1 year. You can change the alert notification, etc., add the email address, and create the alert here. So again, you get the confirmation it's been saved, and if I want to edit that or delete that, go to alerts under my dashboard on the left, and then you'll see search alerts here, the second tab. So I've got my alert here. You can go in, edit the alert. So for example, if I want to change the name, there's add a description. I can change the frequency this time to monthly. And if it's something that's been running and due to expire, you have the option to extend the alert as well. Okay. And then save changes. Go back. And of course, you can go in and delete as well. So if you go to the dots there, you can view the results of the alert and also delete here and remove that. So again, if you are setting up alerts for users, then you're responsible for maintaining it. Otherwise, you can guide them and direct them, educate them how to set an alert, how to maintain it, and if they need to delete it so they stop receiving emails, then you can do that as well. There is also another option here, as you see, journal alerts. So at the moment, I don't have any. So if I was to make use of the Research Tools Publications Authority link here, that will take me straight back to the Publications tab on the landing page, and I can browse or search for publications. So for example, if I go for the Lancet, click search here, you'll see it directs me to Lancet Oncology, Lancet Infectious Diseases. So if I want to go for oncology here, I can click through to this journal publication. You can see it's current, the frequency, it's monthly, and you can see you've got a header print there as well, so you can view this content within the result list, etc. So you can browse issues as well, as you see here. But also with the tools menu, 3 dots here, you can create the alert as well as share it. You can actually share this journal, share a link to this as well, create the link, copy that to the clipboard, and you could direct user to access this periodical. So the alert is similar to what you saw with search alerts. Click create alert there, and then obviously it's the alert name, so you could just remove that data if you wish. And the description, it could be for a particular user again. So I'll put in our favorite doctor, Dr. Smith. Okay, and then when it was created, again, it will last for up to 1 year. So it expires after 1 year. You can be alert on the full text only if preferred as well. And then you have the other notifications, and you create the alert. So it's created, click close, and as you would guess, you go back to the alerts menu under my dashboard, and then you'll see it's here. And the frequency is there and the date created, including the time. So once, obviously, you may have multiple journal alerts. You can sort them by the newest or the oldest. I'm not sure about alphabetical listing yet. That's something which we flagged as well. So again, there may be more changes there in the future. Tools allows you to edit the alert as well and view results also here. So you can see here all results listed currently. Okay, so again, if you want to create these alerts, you could do so on behalf of users as a form of current awareness to inform them of latest content from journals that are indexed in Medline. Obviously, if you don't need this or they no longer require it, you can edit the alert or delete it here, etc. Okay, so then that's the alerts option that you have. So you can set alerts for the search as well as the publications as well. Okay, I'm just going to check Again, if there's any more questions or comments about any of the features we've seen today, then happy to address those as we go through this. I think I've covered pretty much what I plan to cover, apart from Pico, and then we'll look at some of the upcoming changes as well. So with Pico, you'll see the Pico app there on the right side of my screen, and this allows us to populate, as we saw in the PowerPoint, various search terms relating to the population, problem or patient, the intervention, comparison, if it's appropriate and recommended, the outcome type or type of study, etc. So I am going to add some terms here at the moment. So I am going to go for, go for gallbladder dysfunction. Now I can use precision operators here, for example, so I can do this. Let's see. So this would be gallbladder dysfunction or dysfunctional gallbladder, for example. So within 2 words or less of each other. So officially, we don't use these terms within these boxes, but I believe it is working to do that. So I'm just playing around with this right now. They've got HIDA scan, and because of the spelling here, I am not going to enter this myself. Okay, and then you've got a comparison with ultrasound, so it could be ultrasound or ultrasonography. So it could be truncated, it could be sonogram, okay, or it could be sonography. Okay, so again, I'm adding these terms using Boolean operators here as well. So I'm just going to add those terms, and I'll leave it as that for now. So we're looking at the intervention HIDA scan compared to ultrasound for patients with gallbladder dysfunction, etc. Okay, I can add a quality of life or whatever it might be as well. But I'm going to add to search here. It brings up the search query. So again, based on my search terms for Pico, and then I can click search and run that. And I've actually found 2 references. So obviously not a very popular topic within Medline at this stage, or at least according to my terms. So I know it's quite a hard one to find, but anyway, at least you see it does focus your results quite considerably. And of course, I would look to make more changes. And as you see, this is quite a current reference as well. So July 2024, 2019. But I would tweak that. I would edit that search. So you'll see in recent activity, this has been selected. So I can go in, search details, and I can edit that search as well. So you can see I would add other terms in here as well if I needed to. Okay, so for example, I could put gallbladder disease as well, or gallbladder disease or diseases, etc. Okay, so I can add that as well. Update the search, continue, and just see if it makes a difference. So I click cancel here, and then go through. So, yep, 21 now. So I've got 21 results now at 2. So I've increased it by quite a bit. So again, I just made a tweak there, edited the search when I can, and then I can bring up more results there. Okay. Okay, now you'll see also there's a new feature that's been added as well, the citation count here. So you can see this item here, published in 2021, has been cited 35 times. This one only once, 3, etc. So again, you can see, so this one's 53. So some of these are quite crucial references, although some are quite old. But the one that's 2021, more recent, and you can click on that button there, and it will give you the articles that are citing this particular article. Okay, so some of these more recent, as you see there. So it gives you links to the article, and you can also save these as well, as you see. So that's a new feature, cited by. So I'll bring up my PowerPoint, and we just begin to wrap up here. So essentially, just to highlight some of the things that are coming, just to illustrate some things that are coming soon, which also impact your future use of this interface. And you'll be pleased to know that we are having the 3 search boxes maintained on the advanced search page. And also search history is also going to be displayed below, and you will also see the results containing additional metadata, which is already live. So I'll give you an idea what this looks like a bit more. It includes improved button designs. The set numbers are all displayed, and also the applied parameter is also included, like proximity, the expanders, etc. Hit counts are given, so you can see the results for each result set, each line, and databases are indicated through the icon, and then you have the actions menu. So in that respect, if you check this page, you'll see again the 3 rows are maintained, so slightly larger screenshot there of a demo site, and the search history again displays on the standard result list. And you'll see for each of these lines, these set numbers, you can edit them you can add that to the project, and you can delete as well, and that will renumber the search in the search history accordingly. If you remove sets, maybe you added something in error, maybe you ended up with a 0 and you needed to edit that search string, etc. So again, this is coming for the EBSCOhost interface. This is coming from MEDLINE in CNL very soon, officially October, and we've only got one more week left. So it is coming very soon. And if you want more information about future changes, including this, you can go to the platform roadmap, which is ebsco.com/roadmaps. And within research solutions, you can filter by EBSCOhost and the date. And you can see here on this screenshot, the search history displayed in the result list, which I've just shown you a preview of. That is coming, and then the bulk delete from search history also. So again, these are features which are coming soon, and we do have the release notes, which gives you ongoing information about changes at EBSCO in terms of the platforms, interfaces, etc., and that's updated quarterly. And we also have a Interface Insights newsletter. So if you want to be kept abreast with these changes, there is a free newsletter that you can subscribe to and receive updates in your inbox. Okay, and finally, this document, this page on the EBSCO Connect portal will detail what changes have occurred and what are occurring impact your support for systematic review searching. So in other words, these are the kind of things that you've been waiting for or hope to see in the new interface, and you can see those that have been released and those that are coming. Okay, so there's a link there within the PowerPoint. Okay, so training support, just quickly, I've added a few links here that are more generic to the interface as a whole for you to review in your own time. And we have the EBSCO Connect portal, which you can also sign into as a user. If you have an account, you can request one. And this is where you can raise cases, submit technical queries to EBSCO. If you're in the NHS in England, you have your own service desk portal for that, generally speaking. And our training resources portal, healthcare resources portal, will detail upcoming train sessions as well as with video recordings of sessions that we edit and post in the YouTube channel. So I have a couple of other sessions coming up, Mastering APA PsycInfo and the new interface for those who have APA PsycInfo, and also for the Psychology and Behavioural Sciences Collection database, which is available to NHS staff nationally. You may have a subscription to it, or you just may be curious about that one. You can contact me directly at rcooks@ebsco.com. Thank you for your time today.